Namaste, welcome. Um, so this week we are going to be talking about a ritual for coming home and for arriving. I call it arrive alive because the point is you arrive in with your best self. That sounds kind of cliched, but you arrive and you leave all that work stuff behind, basically. So it's a very specific ritual that I'm going to take you through, and it's only going to be about 5 minutes today. But there's we go into it deeper on my workshop, which is next week. So please do log on to that because it'd be great to have you there. We can get a bit more personal with it, a bit of Q&A and all that. So arrive alive, how do we do it? So the trigger for it is the key. So I don't know how your house key is. My house key is fairly huge, but my door key is Yoda on the front. And this is just my trigger for when that goes in the door. It's just your trigger of, okay, I'm home now. It's a different headspace required for here. Open the door, walk in, close the door. And just like what I do with my mindfulness shower, I just keep my hand on the door just for a moment, just to mark the fact that you've closed the door and you're leaving all of that behind. So everything that's work, that's pressured, that's just a different set of pressures that are outside, you're leaving those behind and you're coming inside. So just to mark that. So just have a moment to mark that. And ideally, if you can, especially the key for me is kind of a symbol of gratitude, to be grateful for the fact that you have a key to a door, to a house, which is amazing that you have access to that, to shelter. So then when you're in, it's quite nice to announce to the house that you're home. Now you might be announcing that to a whole load of people. You might be announcing that to nobody, to plants, a cat, to anything or nothing. But it's nice to do it anyway. It's just nice to announce because really you're doing it sort of, I suppose, almost to yourself. You're announcing that you're home now. You're marking that. And then the next thing to do is to place down whatever you have. So you generally probably have loads of stuff in your hand. Now it could be that at this moment you could be being accosted by a lot of children or husband or animals or anything. So what I'd ask in that moment is just to kind of maintain yourself, be aware of yourself, and to not, the temptation is to, chuck everything down and run in to the other, you've just left a whole mess of stuff, and now you're coming inside and it's very likely that you're meeting a whole other mess of stuff. So it's quite nice to remain poised, to place your stuff down. And I could actually go a little bit further with this, and you could have a cushion, a lovely cushion, or a lovely bit of material, maybe one of those pieces of material you might have picked up when you were traveling around the world and you don't know what you're going to do with it. Have almost like an altar beside your door, and place your bag and your keys there, rather than just chucking it and running it into the melee. Placing it down carefully and just consciously, because this is about mindful movement. So you're placing it down mindfully. Then you can greet whoever is there, but if you have that space, the next thing is where my little babies come in. These little babies. So 3 of these, and ideally you have your little altar, beautiful little altar. And what's lovely to do at this point is to have the 3 of these and just to feel into what you need at that point. So you're coming out of a whole load of work pressure or whatever was going on out there. So you just be conscious of what you need. So I'm sure you know these guys, but the 3 of them, one is uplifting, one is grounding, and one is balancing. So don't overthink it. Just tap into what you need, what your body needs at that point. So it can be nice just to let your hand move, not think at all, and just reach for the one that you need. And then you can place it on and put it on. You know how to put it on the pulse points, on the, that's balance, which is obviously what I need right now. Here and here and here. And just have that moment, one mindful breath. If you can have that one mindful breath in your day, it'll transform your day, and it'll transform this transition from being outside and dealing with all that to being inside and dealing with all this. So just breathe and feel it. Now, if as you walked in the door, you were accosted by lots of little people saying, oh, what's going on? There's 2 things I'd like you to be conscious of. One is to be aware of any guilt that you're carrying, because often being a woman working, you feel guilty a lot of the time. So I would like you, if you can, just to be conscious of it and just to show yourself a bit of compassion that you're doing your best. And, let that go. Ideally, let that go. Because, just occupy that space of I'm here and just let that guilt go. So I'd like you to be conscious of that, aware of any negative self-talk that's going on, let it go. And then secondly, if there are little people all around, you can bring them into this, which is really nice. You can bring them into what does mama need now, mama? And what did mama get up to today? And what does mama need? Uplifting, relaxing, balancing. And it can be really nice for them to be involved, because then they'll smell them and they might even choose and put them on you. And it's just a very nice deep connection to have the moment you walk through the door, whether that connection is with little people, big people, or yourself. It's a beautiful thing to do. So that's my ritual for coming home. I would also, so just remember, don't feck your stuff all over the place. If you can, place them gently on some beautiful assigned spot for that. And then if you can, process all that stuff before the next thing, like if shopping bags and all that, empty them before the next thing, so that, everything is done, so that you're really arriving and everything that you need to do is done. Now, there's another little ritual that can be nice, which is to, use an amulet of some kind. So when I was over in New York last month, we had a talk by this guy, Todd Herman, who does the 90-day year. It's a very interesting productivity program. He puts on a bracelet just to signify that he's come inside now. He's got a bracelet with 3 rings, 3 little beads, one for each of his kids. So there's that kind of thing. Or there's, Bonna's glasses. There's a physical amulet that is also quite nice to use. For me, I use the oils. That's enough for me. But it can be nice to have something specific that you put on that signifies, because this is all about triggering awareness, ritual, to say, I'm home now. I'm in a different space, because you need to occupy a different space when you're here with all these demands that are needed from you at home. So that is my ritual for getting through the door. So it's all about presence, awareness, and really transitioning from one set of pressures to another set, so that you can be the self you need to be when you get home, and occupy that more mindfully. So thank you very much. Do please jump on my webinar. That's going to be next week. And otherwise, I will see you next Wednesday. Thanks. Namaste.